Welcome to Crescent City with your hosts Natalie Jean and Jackie Zabrowski. I appreciate your dedication.
I just feel more like Viper Queen
With nails
with
on?
nails that are hard to make everything more difficult. It makes me feel more like a queen.
I get you, girl. You are a queen.
What about, okay, I got these two on.
I think that's all you need. As long as it provides it. I feel like between the two fake nails
Mm-hmm.
and the sunglasses you're wearing,
Yeah.
I feel that you are sufficiently
Viped out?
disabled.
Oh, hobbled enough as a woman?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good, because
That you're
is
allowed
my
to continue to be a
goal.
woman for the rest of the day.
Yay!
Yep, you've done your duty.
I've done it.
You've done the bad parts. Ugh, but when we're doing the good parts, I'm like, yay, lady.
I like some of the hobbling things. I like heels. I like a little bit of the I like when you choose to slightly hobble yourself. I love a corset, but I also know that I can take it off.
You're right.
And I don't have to wear it as a requirement as a lady. So it's more fun that way,
It is, because it's our choice. But you know what? Is it? We don't need to talk about that here.
Whatever do you mean, Jack?
We don't need to bring any of that up. Not when we're living in the world of SJM, because isn't that beautiful?
It is.
Because you know what's always there for us? Books. Hiding from reality.
With sensitive, hot men who fuck.
Hell yeah, come little hornies, will take you away into my mouth of madness. Yeah, man. I just want the hornies to follow me. I'm the Pied Piper today. Boo, 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 boo. And I think your nails are the mouth of the Piper today, because I couldn't do it without your nails.
ASMR?
I like that you put them on for this, and you do immediately take them off.
They fall off. I don't know how people wear these.
I don't understand. It's difficult enough for me with my sensory issues to get like gel nails because I feel like I can feel them all the time. I can't imagine having fake nails on.
That's why you wear stickers.
That's why I like my stickers. That's why I get my Dashing Divas. $8 for a manicure.
I do
Last
love my
3
Dashing
weeks.
Divas, I gotta say.
Last 3 weeks, everybody. Dashing Divas.
They should sponsor us.
God, please. Give me damn fake nails.
I love Dashing Divas. And they're the one that doesn't have an MLM attached to it. So that's
so it's a good one. And I will say, every time I've got Dashing Diva on, people go, oh my God, where'd you get your nails done?
Oh, same.
They don't think they're stickers. Guys, they don't think they're stickers.
I say I have a personal nail technician.
Yeah,
who
and I say
works in my
rhinestone
house.
by rhinestone. I don't.
No. These glasses are like, they're making me feel like the Viper Queen, but they give me a headache. They kind of hurt my eyes.
Well, you look really good. I will say, does keeping the sticker on the front of the sunglasses, is that like the sticker on the hat?
Well, these aren't technically mine.
They are, yes, they are my good pud partners.
So
I know those glasses.
I don't
You think
feel
I don't
like-
know where those glasses came from?
Oh, I know you know. But they may not. Maybe they do know.
Guys, do you listen to Good Pud? You should check it out. It's real weird.
Are there some Fae-Base who are also Pud?
Pud addicts?
Is that what do you guys have a name?
No, we do now. Pud addicts. And Pud addicts, come at us. It does sound like I am saying ATTICS, as if we put our puds in the attic.
Oh,
But
yeah.
no, I keep them right here in this big old mouth. Pudiacs?
The Pud Posse?
Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yours are not gross.
I just feel like Pud Posse sounds like that group that all the boys are in, the Leonardo DiCaprio boys.
Yeah,
the Pussy Posse.
That's like what Good Pud. Good Pud is basically the same thing.
Honestly, I have thought that. It's like Pud, using women's bodies in their holes, but consensually.
Consensually,
So
they're
I
just
guess everybody's
slime
having a good
bags.
time, I think.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I've never been in a Pussy Posse before, and maybe that is the low point of my life, is that I haven't been.
There's still time, girl.
Yeah, you're right. There is always tomorrow. Hey, Natalie, what's at the end of the rainbow?
Pot of gold?
The letter W.
What?
Hey, Natalie,
Oh,
what
get
comes in
outta
a
here.
minute? Twice in a moment, but never in 1,000 years. Natalie, guess. Natalie, guess.
No.
Comes once in a minute, twice in a moment, never in 1,000 years.
One of the letters in it, I
It
imagine.
is. It's the letter M.
It's
the letter M. I'm a Sphinx, guys.
Oh,
Welcome to
I see.
Sphinx.
I see.
You're
now.
in the Sphinx territory. You better watch yourself.
So you're offering me riddles.
Yes, so I will be giving you random riddles, and so you should remain mentally sharp at all times.
I don't want to. That's all I'm going to say. I refuse.
Where does today come before yesterday?
In the alphabet.
Wow,
you
in the
gotta
dictionary.
do one that's not letter-based now that I know what your vibe is.
Okay, all right. 3 doctors all say Robert is their brother. Robert says he has no brothers. Who's lying?
I mean, there's many Roberts.
Fucking think about this for a second, Natalie. No one. The doctors are Robert's sisters. They were women.
God.
They were female doctors.
Boo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Natalie, that in your world, a woman can't be a doctor.
I don't
or
think
maybe the next 4 years, a woman's not allowed to be a doctor anymore.
Oxymoron.
But,
doctor and woman?
Yeah, yuck. What, am I going to puke all over the computer?
She's going to have her period all over me? God.
I
You
am
laugh
really...
so we don't cry.
We can't cry here today. Not when you're dressed as the Oracle. May I just say, highly recommend, if you're upset, again, about your reality, put on a Sphinx costume.
Really put on any costume. It does make you feel better.
It makes you feel good. When I was crying over putting on my Greta Gremlin makeup because I kept screwing it up and then I would cry and then I'd have to remove it.
For Halloween.
And then I'd have to put it on again and then I'd cry and have to remove it. And, I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was just thinking about my makeup.
It did look fantastic.
I appreciate that.
It did. It was really good.
I was very upset with the makeup because this is what they don't tell you. Everyone kept being like, "Oh, Jack, you're good at makeup. You'll be able to do this." Like, yeah, I'll do this. I watch a TikTok. I can fucking do this. I should have practiced. You're supposed to practice these things. Nobody told me. I've never tried to do something like this before.
Pretty sure there's like a whole field of professional makeup artists too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, do people go to school for this?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
No, I had multiple people reach out offering that like I could get their services to put the makeup on. And I was like, me? I don't need any help. Sometimes you need help, guys, and it's okay to ask for it.
But you ended up doing it.
For hours. I did do it.
It
did do
looked
it, guys.
great.
I did do it. But I'm just saying, these are things that we can do. Read, put on makeup, other things, and not leave the house and not talk to anyone for 4 years.
Buy a stunning fairy corset through Sophisticate using code FAYBASE.
Yes, definitely do that.
For $25 off?
You could also get a tattoo that is Fae based.
Oh, did somebody get
I
one?
did, because guys, remember when I was talking about getting an SJM tattoo? I was reached out to by the amazing Julianne Ashby, and I'm going to tag her in this because everyone needs to see her work, and she is effortlessly adding in Crescent City and Throne of Glass and Akatar all into one insane tattoo.
And it's like also very subtle in that way. Like
Thank you.
It looks like a beautiful painting that if you own, it's like you know what it is if you know what it is, and if not, it's like this beautiful piece of work that's so fine line and lovely. You would show it on camera if not for it being on your nethers.
Yeah, got it on my pussy. I wouldn't put Julianne through that. Although I know she's a professional and she would. Julianne Ashby. But definitely check her out. I didn't. It's on my leg.
She may be down for Merkin tattoos. We don't know.
I don't know. I haven't asked her yet, but who knows? I think that she is that accomplished that she can get it done. We're just having like such a great experience, like creating it together. And she was so wonderful because sometimes, guys, I don't know if you know this about getting tattoos, but sometimes it's intimidating to have to talk to someone and be like, oh, I want something, but like I want to create a whole piece of artwork and I'd like to like work together with you to make this happen. Highly recommend it.
Well, yeah, my tattoos, a lot of them came from the aughts, and it was mostly just guys like nailing you with like, oh, girl, just digging in your skin and like calling you a pussy and just like laughing while you sweat and almost, But I will say I worked at a tattoo shop. I saw many men faint, never a single woman.
It is
If that tells you anything.
very interesting of what I have heard from tattoo artists talking about what women can put up with and the pain that we can deal with in just a very different way. And it just, man, it makes you feel so strong. It goes back to that idea that, like, when people used to say, like, oh, you're a pussy, it's like, dude, you know how strong pussies are?
Oh,
You
yeah.
realize what a pussy can accomplish? And I know that that's, like, sad, but I feel like, we gotta be saying things like this. Like, yeah, you know what, Natalie? You're a pussy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're really
I take it as
welcome.
a compliment.
Yeah, right? We
All
have
right.
to be there for each other.
We do, and we have to get into this book.
Oh, Oracle is waiting for you, Natalie.
Well, we're going right to the Oracle.
I know
at
it,
the beginning of chapter 33.
You go at red and stop at green. What am I? This one I don't understand. A watermelon.
Oh, I
Go
see.
at red. Oh, because you eat it at red and you stop.
Don't
it at
tell
the
me what
green.
part to eat at. Maybe
Yeah,
I
I'm
eat
gonna
the rind.
eat the rind. Yeah, I'm a rind bitch.
Don't tell me, Sphinx, how to eat.
All right, Sphinx is not here to tell you how to eat. I will say that.
We're back after Hunt has been forced to go on a murder mission for Micah, where we experienced his detachment from himself in the previous chapter and ultimately his self-flagellation. He hates himself for what he does, but he doesn't super have any option in the matter. He has to. He is literally a servant to this commission,
Yeah.
and he has to do it. So he just suffers in the aftermath. And so now, though, instead of going back to the barracks afterwards, he is now gone back to Bryce's home. Even though he doesn't really talk to her, it is still like a step closer to what he was doing before, which was like hiding out really far from her.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't know how to process his feelings.
I don't know how I would be able to process having to torture people to death for a job.
Especially like,
Are you guys listening to this? Are you getting tortured to death by our podcast?
I think that I think it says a lot about his character, the fact that it never gets easier. Because I feel like
Oh, sure.
after all of this time, that like you would just shut off. And I do also wonder if this is part of him starting to like come back online. You know what I mean too?
Yeah.
Of like like reverting back into who he used to be, because he's also struggling with like feeling and connecting in a way that he hasn't in a really long time. And it's got to, like, you do revert back into your old habits sometimes when you start to get awakened in other ways.
Yeah, and I keep trying to figure out a word because I was writing in the script, and I know I said feymanity before, but he is not a fey. He's an angel, angelity. But I don't know if that works either because the angels aren't particularly kind or good.
Or, like, feeling, I feel like, but I think it's that connection.
But, like, you can't use the term humanity.
Right.
So, like, what is it?
His vibrance.
His
Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I like his vibrance.
But, like, his ability to feel empathy and compassion and love and, like, kindness. Like, his kindness. His finding his kindness again because he obviously had that already, but he has put that away for so long.
But also, I think he actually is tapping into a little bit of humanity. I think that maybe that
Bryce,
that's
yeah.
like tapping into that connection of like feeling that.
Yeah,
he's gonna be Devin. I am excited about it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Natalie, I am consistently on the precipice of horny. You could just say one thing, just tip me right over the edge. Get me right back there.
The slow burn of the middle of this book, it is, I can't not think about sex the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's hard because I know there's other horrible things happening, but she really drags it out in this book. And it is
You're like
quite
begging for it by the time it happens.
Holy shit. So, or maybe they won't have sex. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Now that we would know, now that we like
I
think
don't know.
about that all the time.
So
Oh my God, me trying to explain my Hunt Athalar shirt to the poor young person at the AMC, who I'm sure is now listening to this show because I did tell her about it. I'm sorry. I went into too much lore. I tried to explain too much. I was just buying popcorn, and I needed her to know. She did ask.
Yeah, she asked. It's her. It's on her.
Yeah.
It's on her.
I mean, she was just saying, I like the lightning on your shirt. And I was like, oh my God, if you like lightning. You know,
You
guys,
like
I am
big,
out here.
thick angel cock.
I am proselytizing for all of us.
Thank you. So Hunt right now, he's facing the next morning. He has to go to the Oracle's chamber because he made an agreement previously in one of the past chapters with Bryce and Rune that he would go and inquire whether or not she can tell them anything about what's happened with Luna's horn. Because, you know, if you remember, they've been like trying to piece this out, trying to figure out like why and who would have taken it for what reason.
Yeah.
And so he said he would go talk to the Oracle because both Bryce and Rune are like, absolutely not. I'm not going back there. That lady creeps me out. It's weird. And Hunt's like, I don't care. I didn't have to go through this process. So it's a long shot for them to find anything out from the Oracle, but they're not above asking psychics because they got to get this shit taken care of. They're on a tight timeline.
Come on over, Hunty. That's me
you're being
as
the
I am the
Sphinx.
Oracle. I am trying to seduce him, even though the Oracle has nothing to do with seducing a Hunt Athalar.
No,
but
I don't
like,
think so.
I'm just saying, what if he's getting awakened? What if I get awakened a little bit? Start fluffing up I did have to take off my wings because I couldn't sit with the wings on. So, you know, I'm fluffing up my wings in my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to show off for him a little bit.
Okay. So in your version, she needs to be
She's
cured
spreading her paws to show her goods. You know what I mean?
Okay. Just so everybody can make sure they have the image. So yeah, Bryce and Rune have their own oracle trauma, so he's on his own. He feels uncomfortable being in a spiritual place like this after his actions the previous night. He doesn't feel like he deserves to be inside of like a spiritual.
Yeah, like he's unclean.
The space is large and ominous, and as the Oracle Sphinx appears from a shadowy hole in the ground, hello, we learn she is a bit of my first nail fell off.
There, one nail goes.
We learn she is the Sphinx is a bit of a snack.
Yeah, bitch. Think about it. I got my paws up for a Sphinx fuck.
We're
not fucking the Sphinx.
No. I don't even know if she has genitals. She's got a beautiful woman's face, a lion's body, and golden wings.
Oh, I'll figure it out. I don't need genitals. I'll figure something out.
You can go somewhere.
Yeah, man.
So he smells in this chamber, in this temple that's in the middle of Crescent City. He smells sulfur and roasting meat. The citizens of Midgard don't seem to know much about the Sphinxes, and they are rare and seem to have some connection to a higher being. He asks her why someone would want Luna's horn when she appears to him. She goes into a trance of sorts.
The doctors were sisters.
The doctors were sisters?
Goes back to the riddle, but he doesn't understand what riddle she's
the
talking
doctors were
about. But she does speak in riddles, so
the doctors
you know.
were
the
women.
doctors were women.
She goes.
She says, I have 13 hearts, but no lungs or stomach. What am I?
13 hearts.
A deck of cards.
Get out of here, Sphinx! Ugh.
I have no brain for riddles. It's like, keep me out of an escape room. I am only a hindrance.
Really? I love escape rooms.
Oh, I love being in an escape room. I am just dead weight. I am there going like, what do you think this is for? Like, they're making jokes, not helping anybody get anything done. You know, I'm a bitster. It's difficult to keep me down.
That you're needed.
Thank
as well.
you. Thank
to
you.
Keep
I
morale up.
Thank you. Give me that horn. Hunt.
So
He doesn't have it, Sphinx.
I did look up the word horny the other day because I didn't know where it came from.
Oh,
the etymology.
Yeah? Where did it come from?
What you would think. It's I think it was like the 19th century.
Rhinoceros.
It used to be only for men. They were getting horned up, which means a boner.
Well, that's good because that is only for them to be doing. We love the bit. I won't keep making the bit.
No, you have to. How else are you gonna get through?
We gotta laugh until we cry.
So she goes into her trance, and she has some bad news for Hunt when she returns with the answer. She says someone wants to repair the horn to open a door between worlds. Great.
Oh, it's like, can't the Sphinx stop it? Can't you like do something? I know you're like there to reveal mysteries, but
I just
like,
mean, just like in this world, constantly the dangers of people trying to open a rift into another universe is like, can we just relax for a minute?
I mean, could you imagine if it was possible in our reality?
No.
Like, I feel like
We're
can
just
you
trying to
imagine?
like hold on to our human rights with a fucking
Good
single thread right
Lord.
now, okay? So she won't reveal who, however, is the one trying to steal the horn too. She apparently knows. She won't tell anyone.
Sphinx.
But we know that the horn was created to defeat the baddies of hell. We know that from what we've already learned.
Right.
Thus, it closes a door. The horn was created to close a door. And man, I'm reading Throne of Glass simultaneously because we do a live stream about Throne of Glass.
Which you
everybody,
should come and
which you
check
should
out.
check out on twitch.tv/LPNTV. Next one's, well, I don't know when this episode's going to come out, so I'm not going to give you the next one, but they live on our YouTube channel if you want to catch the aftermath of the live streams.
Because Throne of Glass
But
is so cool.
I'm reading Throne of Glass simultaneously, and I'm trying to make sure I'm not crossing storylines here, because there are similar things happening. There's some crossover, guys.
Natalie.
That's all I'm going to say. Anyway.
Oh my God, my brain like hurt reading the last Throne of Glass. Not only because of everything that was going on, but also being like, I need to talk to you,
I'm
Natalie.
not done yet. I'm not done with the last one.
Natalie! I'm just waiting. I'm just sitting here. Thank God I got this tattoo done yesterday so I could talk to Julianne, because I was like, my mouth hurts. I need to talk about it.
No, you soothe your mouth.
Sphinx.
So the Sphinx is now telling Hunt that the horn can also open a door, not just close it, which is not great. So the article also lets Hunt know that it's not actually broken. Another great.
Sorry.
Hunt is shooken when she refers to him by his birth name, Orion Athalar.
Into it. I really like the name Orion.
Orion Athalar is a great name.
Yes, dude.
He tells her no one has called him that in centuries. Hunt is rattled by the Sphinx, and she seems to be amused by this.
That's the sound of a Sphinx being
amusement. She begins to taunt him slightly and asks if he wants to know what she told Bryce on her 12th birthday. Hunt doesn't want to learn that private information, and that is the correct answer, Hunt. Good job.
It was a test.
And he also declines to know about himself because she really wants to tell him what she knows about him.
How like awesome and annoying would it be to have a Sphinx friend? Because I feel like it'd be like, bitch, I know you know things.
I don't know if I could be friends with the Sphinx.
I know, because like I don't want to know, but if you're the Sphinx, like think about the Sphinx for a second and how I know all the mysteries of the world and how I'm like not supposed to tell you all of it.
But not only that, if they know everything about my future, they can judge me. They can like they know if like something bad's about to happen, and they just have to be like, hey, what's up? And you'd be like, what are you looking at me like that for?
Still gonna go on that cruise,
No,
Natalie?
What? Should I?
Oh, no. No, I'm not saying anything. Mysteries of the universe,
what
Natalie.
What a terrible friendship.
Just wondering if you're going on the cruise, Natalie.
God.
I think I want to be a Sphinx. I think I'm ready to be mysterious. I think that, like, I've talked about this before, that I'm not mysterious enough, and I wear, like, everything.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna. Yep.
I wear all of
you
my
just
feelings.
said you hate riddles. Just said you hate.
Well, I'm bad at it, but if I became a Sphinx, I'd probably be pretty good at them.
Are you gonna be able to sit like that? The Sphinx sits in the with your
perch
paws
up.
out. Yeah.
Honestly, though, I will say my lion headgear that I currently have on kind of makes me think of Carmi.
It does look like Carmi.
It's a little. I kind of felt like I'm playing Carmi right now.
Oh, Carmi. Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
Carmi
with your
would
dogs.
be a really cute Sphinx. I'll tell you.
Oh
that.
my God, Natalie, put her in a Sphinx costume. Oh my God, she would look so fucking cute in a Sphinx costume, please.
I know it exists somewhere.
Well, look up dog in a Sphinx costume.
So I would also.
Oh
my
God. Dogs in Sphinx costumes are so funny looking. The
Well,
cat in a Sphinx
you know what I
costume
want for
doesn't wanna
Christmas
be wearing
now.
it.
You know what I want for Christmas.
Yes, I do know what you want for Christmas. And, I think you're making that as a joke, but you're
I'm
going to
not.
be getting this for
I'm
Christmas.
absolutely not making that a joke. If somebody else buys it, I have to put it on.
You
her.
have to put it on her.
I do not want to know from. Do you want a future told? Like, do you want a Sphinx to come and tell you what's going to happen to you?
No, I have too much anxiety. I am so on the other side of anybody's like, do you want to know when you're going to die? Do you want to know how you're going to die? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I live with anxiety disorder, and I can make anxiety over absolutely anything.
Yes.
I make up things to be anxious about, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. So I don't need to know that. I think I would wake up in the middle of the night all the time thinking about it.
No, I don't want to know anything about that. Please.
It's hard enough, like, having all of the memories come up of things that were dumb that you've said to people. Or embarrassing that you've said to people.
That just come to you at like 9 p.m. when you're like
Yes.
trying to relax your brain and you're just like, remember when you said that thing and it was like they looked at you like you were a moron and then everybody saw it and now you don't know how to like bring it up again. You want to apologize because you felt really bad but you can't.
You can't.
Then you just over and
You
over and
think,
over and over
you
again.
think, and you think. And then that's why it's like, if I was too busy thinking about riddles, I'm easy to lift but hard to throw. What am I? It's a feather.
Read the excerpt.
The oracle blinked. A slow bob of those thick lashes.
Blink. You remind me of that which was lost long ago,
She said quietly.
I had not realized it might ever appear again.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
You have thick lashes, so you were good Sphinx.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I refuse to put on fake lashes
You don't need
because
'em.
I tried it for my wedding day and I remember also getting so frustrated with them.
They're
that
very
I
annoying.
gave up. So I
But you
was
don't
going to
need 'em,
put
though.
on fake lashes and I didn't. Thank you.
You don't need to do that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so that's the thing that she just says, and he goes, okay, well, thanks, lady. Whatever that means. Don't like thinking about what was lost long ago.
Yeah, because also it's like, bro, Oracle, I just said I don't want to know anything. Don't spit a riddle at me.
Ugh. So
Remind me of that which was lost long ago. I had not realized it might ever appear again. Just a reminder for everybody.
yeah, that sounds like that could go a lot of ways.
A lot of ways.
A lot of
Could be
different
a
ways.
lot of things.
So he is about to leave, and just as he's about to walk out, she has one more thing to say, and it is, do yourself a favor, Orion Athalar. Keep well away from Bryce Quinlan.
Bro, it's like, don't do this to me, bro. Because I just watched this movie not that long ago. Highly, highly, highly recommend, called My Old Ass. It is Aubrey Plaza is in it and is essentially about this, like her younger self trips real hard, sees Aubrey Plaza, which is her grown up, and she tells her to stay away from somebody that's in her life. And that's what the movie is about. And it was so good. I went to it completely blind. I was like, oh, Aubrey Plaza's in it. I bet it's funny. Went to go see it. Not. I mean, there's funny parts. I cry.
Oh, it's a cry movie.
Cry. Beware. It is funny, but it's a cry movie. But I highly recommend it. But this, again, Oracle, you're really not helping Hunt out here.
No. Also, what kind of hater are you? Maybe she just does have a crush on Hunt.
I mean, I get it. I do too. I'm a Sphinx, but I'm not dead.
Right? Still got life in you.
Yeah, baby. When there's a hole, there's a way. And again, doesn't matter where the hole is.
Okay, well, might matter soon. So Do we as the reader not know something about Bryce is kind of the question we have at this point in the book. Does she have some secret that we haven't learned yet that's going to make it bad?
There's a lot more books left.
There is. So chapter 34 takes place immediately after Bryce and Rune, who had been waiting outside of the Oracle's temple, a big black temple in the middle of town. It's where they live, I guess.
Yeah, it's like their dorm.
They live in the holes in the ground inside of the temple, it sounds like.
Told you, when there's a hole, there's a way. And
they're listening to Hunt. So in the next chapter, Hunt has come back to them. He is debriefing them on I don't mean his underpants. He's telling them what happened inside the chamber. And they ponder over what the Oracle has told him. And they wonder whether the witches could somehow be involved, because if they are in an alliance with Hell and want to bring them back over to finish the job, maybe they're the ones who took the horn.
You literally said that, and this is the problem with reading them simultaneously. I start thinking Throne of Glass, and I'm like, Jackie, different. My brain like
different
goes
witches.
into overload. It's like, not those witches.
Yes, the witches in this world are, I don't know if they're connected, but they're very, keep your ears together.
Sorry.
They're very connected. They're not very connected as far as like the books, but they might be connected, but they're very different in Crescent City. So they're wondering maybe somehow the witches are connected to this stealing of the horn. Rune is not convinced, but he agrees to covertly try to gain some information from the witches. That's one of his tasks now. So we cut to later that day, and Hunt and Bryce are back in the Griffin subterranean library. Bryce can feel Hunt keep staring at her, and finally she just explodes out, "Yes? What are you looking at?"
Man, I'm such a bitch when it comes. If someone is staring at me, I immediately snap of like, "Can I help you with something?"
Oh, I hate it.
Do you need something? But even if it is a stranger, and sometimes it is one of those like old school bitch things that still lives in my bones of like, Jackie, you don't need to respond like that.
Well, it's just such like a thing. I don't know. I feel like in the early 2000s, it was much more, it still happens, I'm sure, but much more socially acceptable for guys to just like invade your space. And like when they're staring at you, especially like at the gym and stuff, you just like,
oh yeah,
what?
Look literally anywhere else.
So now, Bryce is basically like, "What do you want?" And he just cuts to the chase. He said, "Why did the Oracle tell me to stay away from you, Bryce? What's up with that?" And Bryce finds this funny.
Of course she does.
She explains the Fae ritual of going to the Oracle at 12, or when those who get there, those with uteri get their periods.
I think it's about the yes. Maybe you're right.
I don't know.
You're right.
Somebody tell us about our bodies. When they get their periods for the first time, or they are 12, they go to this ritual. It's like not really a thing that matters anymore in their culture, but like it's an old tradition where they used to go. The Fae would go to the Oracle. They would get their riddle, and then they would choose who they would marry with other Fae. It was like the old school version of it. But now like they just do it for tradition. And Bryce, though she had been raised by her human mom, Ember, she seemed to have a little panic at Bryce's coming of age time, because even though Ember lived amongst humans and didn't really feel very strongly and positively about the Fae, she maybe was concerned about Bryce's limited protection in the human world. So
also, it's a whole world she knows nothing really about, so that's got to be really scary for a parent to like watch your kid go through something like that.
Yeah, and also just like knowing that Bryce is half Fae and her mom not really knowing how to deal with it.
And knowing who her father is as well, so knowing that he's going to have something to do with it. I imagine Ember isn't smiling.
So this is Bryce basically giving Hunt some of her backstory, and she tells him that even though, you know, the real world stuff isn't used anymore for like the Oracle, like doesn't make you have to marry somebody or whatever, that her mom seemed intent on putting her through all of the traditions of the Fae to earn favor of her Fae father and get Bryce a civitas status, the highest class of being in Midgard. So if you'll recall, humans are peregrini and lower than Fae in this world. And so to
just
become
boring humans.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
I get it.
So Ember decides to go through this whole process of reaching out to Bryce's father, and he agrees to grant Bryce civitas status. But in that agreement, she must claim the House of Sky and Breath instead of the House of Earth and Blood. Bryce didn't want that. She was not interested in the Fey world, and she actually kind of had disdain for it. But Ember actually insists that Bryce take the Fey house. Again, Bryce feels that this is because Ember wants her to be more protected than she could be as Borosnor or human.
And she knows that there's more for her in that life, that she can grow and get more powerful, I'm assuming. And so why wouldn't you want that for your kid?
Well, especially because, like, if you are a human in that capacity, like, Bryce is going to make the drop and live, like, centuries past her mom. And so she wants Bryce to have, like, somewhere to be protected.
I've already discussed this with Jeff, that if I come across a Fey male that is willing to put a child inside of me, like, that's my hall pass. I don't have a celebrity hall pass.
Yeah.
It is just a Fey male that can put a half Fey inside of me.
Yeah.
So that, and I was like, you can, like, we will rate, like, we'll be the Ember and Randall. Oh my God. Natalie, we would so be Ember and Randall.
So you would be Ember and Randall.
Oh my God. And he'll never let us dress up as the two of them, but how awesome would it be if we just, like, played a life like we were the two of them?
I mean, he loves shooting guns.
Yeah, so it's like, then it'll be just like him, and it'll be like a soldier, and it'll be a good father.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love this. I love this this journey, this narrative for you guys.
Thank you.
I really hope that
I'm
guys
really
meet
excited
a Fey
for
male.
us. Yeah. I'll find one. Oh, I gotta get out in those forests, I guess.
You have to go
I
find.
hate being
I know,
outdoors.
you really do.
Oh,
that's where they are.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to get like a traveling tent house, an RV, I guess is what it's called.
Has anyone ever thought of, like, putting a tent on wheels?
On wheels, and then you can just, like, live outside, but inside.
Like, inside at the same time. So Bryce tells Hunt all of this, explaining her first visit to meet the Autumn King and Rune. Though recall, at this point, Hunt doesn't know that the Autumn King is her father. So she explains that she met Rune and the Autumn King while meeting her father, a relative of theirs, which is her general cover story.
Mm-hmm.
When it's time for her to go visit the Oracle...
I forget, because they're still lying, right, at this point?
He doesn't know
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know that the Autumn King is her dad yet. When it's time for her to visit the Oracle at her age, she went, and it did not go well. It was clear her father was very interested in what the Oracle was going to tell Bryce about her future. Not because he cared, but because he wanted to see what he could get out of whatever was going to Bryce is going to turn into.
Oh, surprise. Is her dad continuing to be a piece of shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
But instead of giving her a premonition or like a fortune, the Oracle, when Bryce went in, as a 12-year-old, simply started to scream and claw at her eyes.
It's like, girl, can you just get yo shit together? Like, I know. I was like, please, I just came to the Oracle, calm down. Must be how Jeff feels every day when he gets home from work after I've been working alone all day. And I'm just like,
And you're in your Sphinx costume.
Yeah. Always in my Sphinx costume.
That's how you relax. So that's it. The Oracle screamed for her to get out. There's no reading. So Bryce's dunkle, that uncle, is livid, disgusted. He basically tosses her out of his home, tells her to hit the streets. He literally threw her bags into the street. Rune tries to step in, but the Autumn, totally not her dad king, wouldn't allow him. Though he did manage to get Bryce money for her return trip to Ember's house. So Rune is doing anything he can in that moment to help her, because he was literally, like, physically not allowed to stop her dad.
And also think of what's going through Rune's brain as well, of, like, watching her being like, why do you even want to be a part of him? Like, why do you want to be a part of any of this? Because, like, think of what Rune had already gone through with his father.
If you'll recall, though, Rune really shifted his feelings on his dad when he did this.
Yeah.
So Rune was still trying to, like, appease his dad at this point, but after he treated his little sister this way, that was when he really just went, actually, fuck you. I don't care. Fuck you. I'm not going to do what you need. I'm not going to do your bidding as much as possible. I'm going to go live with my boys in a party house.
Hell yeah. Natalie, don't start drinking. It's the middle of the day. Natalie, don't.
Ginger. Ginger twist. So.
It's a sparkling water.
It is.
No, I realized I did this the other day. I usually like travel somewhere if I can't bring my safety bottle of water with me everywhere, my reusable water bottle. I will bring a seltzer in the Uber with me. And I got in the Uber and like the driver just heard the and he went, "I'm sorry, miss." And he pulls over to the side door. He's like, "You cannot drink." And he thought that I was just getting hammered in the back. I was like, "It's a seltzer. It's a seltzer." I was like, "You could have just asked me." I was like, "It's a seltzer." And he's like, "Oh." He's like, and I was like, "And I just opened it so there's seltzer inside of it." But he was so weird about it.
Weird.
But I guess he was just scared.
Maybe he had like a really bad experience or something.
It must have been. Like I wasn't upset with him. I was more just like, "No, I promise, it's just seltzer. It's just seltzer."
I've never considered just cracking open a fucking beer in the back of an Uber.
Yeah, because we're not insane people.
Yeah,
but, you know. And it was the middle of the day, so again, if it was 2:00 in the morning, I would also understand.
I love that we're not in the insane people. We're not.
I've never happened.
We're not crazy.
I've never been over dramatic. I've never no. But honestly, in moments like that,
the Sphinx is very rational.
I did immediately feel like I had fucked up. I screwed, people pleaser. That's a problem,
Sure.
Things like that. And then you're just like, "Oh God, I ruined it. I did bad." When I didn't. I just opened a seltzer.
That's not an unreasonable thing to do in a car. So, yeah, so he kicks Bryce out of his home and she goes back to Ember's house, crying, and Ember's, of course, livid. And Bryce finds out later that the Oracle had ended up going blind for a week after she had visited her.
Damn, bitch!
Hunt's shocked by this, but also a little excited, if I were to wager.
Also, I want everyone to thank me for not trying to do the clawed out eyes, because I did think about becoming that Sphinx, and it's like, it would just be too much.
Jesus.
Talk about taking on, putting off crying, taking it off, putting on crying, you know what I mean? I can't go through that on a Thursday.
That's a lot. Hunt, I think, is a little thrilled at the idea that she's also a social reject.
Yeah, of course.
He's like, "That's hot.
Yeah, dude.
You're also a pariah in society."
Aww.
In fact, they do have a moment after she tells him this.
His eyes lingered on her face again, and she knew it had nothing to do with what the Oracle had said.
Oh. She shakes off how this makes her feel and turns their attention back to the task at hand.
Oh, yeah. We're working on other things.
We need to find any info on the Crystallos. I cannot think about kissing you right now. Hunt shows her.
I can think about it. I gotta think about it.
Hunt shows her something he's discovered looking through all of the ancient artifacts online. So as they're in the library in the basement, they're spending any of her free time down there just like scouring old books and images and trying to find any reference to this very, very old demon.
Where is the horn?
So Hunt shows her something he's discovered. It's a vase, a picture of a vase. It's a vase from 15,000 years ago, after the battle with the horn by 100 years, but relatively close in time to the battle with the horn. So it's much closer. The vase is much more close to that time than the time they're living in. Bryce studies the image with Hunt from his laptop, and we learn that the vase that he sees this image that is obviously the Crystallos on is sitting in an area we don't know about yet in Midgard called Mercia. Mercia? I just thought that was interesting because we have such a tiny understanding of Midgard right now. But she basically says Mercia is about 2,000 miles away from where they sit. So it's just an interesting little part of the map. But they're looking at this picture of the vase online, and this vase clearly is showing a person or a fae attacking this Crystallos demon. Bryce, when she, finds, they're both looking at this image, she has to pull Hunt's pigtails because she can't let people know that she likes him.
Of course.
And she said, we can't reveal to anybody that you're such a computer nerd. It'll ruin your reputation.
I mean, thinking about big hulking Hunt Athalar sitting on a laptop computer is kind of funny.
I mean, it's also sex.
Oh, yeah, because it makes the laptop look so little.
Thanks for your concern.
His eyes met hers, the corner of his mouth kicking up. Her toes might have curled in her heels. Slightly.
Uh-oh, we have a Maas toe curl.
Oh, she loves a toe curl, and she's not even orgasming right now.
No, but listen, if one of her characters has got some curly toes, you know something's about to go off.
Something's afoot. Come on.
Whoa, a foot.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a Sphinx.
So
that's not a mystery, Jackie. All right.
It's more.
It's a pun.
That's more of a pun. Yeah, I don't know. If
I don't think
puns.
they're known for their pun work.
So guys, we got to focus on the crystallos.
Okay.
And also, you guys are strictly banned from touching each other, so that's very not sexy. So don't be thinking about sex because you're not allowed to have it with each other. So stop thinking about it, okay? Stop it. The vase is a painting of a crystallos, and it seems to suggest it's an instruction diagram of how to kill one. And it seems to say that you simply need to use old-fashioned stabbing prowess through the head.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that before.
So it's not so...
Oh, that's nuts. Wait, that's how you kill something? Wait a second.
Right
a knife through their head?
Yep.
Damn, man, I'm glad we had that vase to tell us. Although I will, to be fair, without the vase, we wouldn't know that would work, and you might not even try that. Although I really will say, always go to beheading. You know, I think if there's something that we've learned in a lot of this.
It's one of the most annoying tropes in
movies,
like horror movies, slasher movies. They'll get the guy down and they'll get him in the shoulder and they'll be like, we're safe, everybody. Let's walk away.
Off its head.
You have to cut their head off.
Always.
Jesus. Why is this so difficult?
It always makes me like a movie more when the character will go back to make sure somebody is dead. I'm just like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, keep going.
So basically the vase is saying, don't worry, you don't need to like put a spell together. They will die if you cut their heads off. And
the vase says, every little thing is gonna be all right. It's like, Vaz, why are you doing this to us right now? I don't think it is gonna be all right.
No.
We gotta still find this horn. We gotta kill this crystal. There's a lot.
I don't really need this sort of this sort of what's it called? Condescension right now, vase.
No, we don't need I know you're a Marley head vase, but keep it easy.
You might be Irie, we are not.
No, there's too much going on.
Bryce is not buying that you simply need to stab the crystals in the head because if that were the case, how could it have overtaken the entire pack of devils? And she's not wrong.
You're so right.
They both consider this piece of information, and Hunt notices that the vase is labeled as being made in Parthos. And this confuses him because he was under the impression that Parthos was just a story from human mythology.
What?
And the way it's described, I think it's supposed to elicit thoughts of something similar to Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
So he's saying Parthos. So basically, this vase was found in Atlantis. I thought that was fake. Is kind of what he's saying. And Parthos is being referenced here as a mythical underground library in the mythology of humans. And Bryce pushes back. She's a bit of a conspiracy theorist, it sounds like. She's like, she may or may not believe that maybe Parthos exists, okay? And Hunt's like, what?
Just saying, if they're saying the vase is from there.
Thinking the frogs are getting made gay now too, Bryce?
Yeah, I guess.
So Bryce is a little...
they put fetuses in the frogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a thing?
Yeah. Bryce
was there fetuses in the Pepsi? I forget.
Either one.
Don't worry. He's probably going to be the deputy of Homeland Security by the end of the year.
But did you see, though, that The Onion won InfoWars? The Onion purchased InfoWars today. Yeah.
I did not see that.
That's very funny. A very triggered, just very quickly, I have to say, that the parents of Sandy Hook and the Onion teamed up and they purchased InfoWars.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's great.
So that's a win for today.
Wow.
Anywho, Bryce is a little shaken having to talk about the crystallos because she is having flashbacks of, finding chunks of her friends all over her apartment.
Yeah, bitch.
Might be a bummer. So Hunt gets a call that, and right in this moment, as Bryce is having a little bit of a shake 'em ups, Hunt gets a call that Philip Briggs is going to be made available to the two of them so that they may question him. And it's going to be tonight in an hour.
It's like, can't we take a nap, you know?
Nope. Hunt watches Bryce and tries to gauge if she's going to be able to handle this. Bryce, of course, tries to blow it off and be like, yes, I'm fine. But he presses her. She still tries to insist that she's okay. Really? Because that vase just set you off, and I doubt coming face to face with this guy is going to be any easier.
The walls began swelling around her.
Get out.
Her words cut between them.
Just because we're working together doesn't mean you're entitled to push into my personal matters.
Ugh, it's like they were just getting close, and then it's just, you know,
he's trying to pushing her
things
too
to do.
much.
They've got work to finish, and that must come before the kissing.
So he backs off as they head up the stairs. He's like, okay, fine, we're going. She lingers behind him to lock the doors, and in that moment, as she gets out of his eye line, she has a little mini panic attack because she can't show anybody that she's vulnerable.
Emotions.
So she gets into a ball on the floor right outside the door of the basement and out of sight of Hunt. Syrinx and Lahaba come sit with her. Lahaba tries to tell her to let Hunt be her friend, and it makes Bryce more angry. Lahaba tells her that Hunt is nice to her, and Danica never was, which sets Bryce off a bit. And she yells at Lahaba, and Lily leaves her from there. So basically she just like goes like, get away from me, all of you. She basically isolates herself from even the people in her life.
Girl, that ain't gonna help nothing.
And she knows this. She doesn't mean to snap at Lahaba, but she did just insult Danica in that moment.
That is crossing a boundary for Bryce, and that is understandable.
Yeah. So instead she just leans against this door, tries to steady her breathing before she has to go and join Hunt. At chapter 35, we're cutting to a slightly later, and Bryce is following Hunt through the haunting prison facility where Philip is being held underneath the comitium. So she has pulled herself together, and she has gone with him, and now they are about to go face to face with Philip Briggs.
Good Lord.
And although she's very mad at Hunt in this moment, she seems to be captivated with watching him, quote, cut through the world. So she can't be that mad.
Yeah, man. Watching him from behind cut through the world.
This is not the place where she was taken that fateful night when everybody died, because as you recall, she was in an interrogation room. Yeah. This, where they're going to Philip Briggs, seems to be a much more insidious place. A place where maybe things are done outside of prying eyes. So it's a scary place. And as she looks around this very sterile sort of hospital-y / mental asylum hall, she thinks about the first lights illuminating everything down here because there's no windows, of course. And the first light illuminating it makes her think about whose first light it is. Sort of just like a pondering about just the grander scheme of their world.
Right, because it's a magic coming from somewhere.
And it's a way for us to recall that this first light is like mysterious and we don't know a lot about it, but it seems kind of ominous because they pull it out of people when they take their drops. So they're like, the government's sucking out first light to use as electricity.
And it's so powerful that it's like, what else do they use it for and things like that.
And so in that moment, she's also just wondering what her first light will be used for when it happens. She doesn't think it'll be very much, but she thinks Hunt's was probably enough to power a city. They go into a room and we see Philip Briggs for the first time.
Bryce beheld the state of his gaunt, hollow face and willed herself not to flinch. His dark hair was buzzed close to his scalp, and though not a bruise or scratch marred his skin, his deep blue eyes, empty and hopeless.
So they're in this sort of interrogation room, and Briggs is in a white jumpsuit. Upon first glance through Bryce's eyes, we observe a quiet, broken man. He doesn't come across as a Hannibal Lecter type like we might believe he would be as this maniac, right?
Yeah.
He's almost sympathetic. Before they can question him, he asks them what month it is, which is a yeesh.
Uh-oh, bad brain in there, huh, dude?
Brains are not doing good.
Uh-oh.
It's here. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've learned what year it is on Midgard until this moment, because when Hunt responds, he tells him it's April 12th, 15,035.
What?
But it might suggest Midgard is on some future parallel universe with us because they're using a Gregorian calendar, which they don't do in the other
Right.
books.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's more just by seasons.
So she's obviously intentionally using our months in it. So Philip Briggs is quite out of it, obviously. They ask if he knows about the White Raven bombing, and he seems amused, pointing out that he didn't even know what year it was, so no, he doesn't know about the bombing. He tells them that he's a failure, so why would anybody on the outside contact him? Essentially saying he failed to do his terrorist act, so why would they want to include him in their information? Plus, he can't talk to anyone in the outside world. He's being held in like a basement cell somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably a lot harder to get like messages out in that kind of jail than it would be in our regular boring human jails.
Yes. And he makes some pretty fair leftist points about how the Veneer treat humans like scum, and Bryce herself is always going to be treated like disposable trash, just like he assumes her mother was.
Whoa.
He doesn't know her mom. He instead correctly guesses that because the women are usually human in the interspecies children, because the women were taken by force, that her mom was in that situation, and he's not wrong. Bryce knows he's right, but makes it clear she doesn't condone his actions, which is like, yes, he might have the correct, that I agree with his ideology, but the way to handle it is not a bunch of innocent
blowing
death.
things up, yes.
So she tries again, asking if he thought his people would exact revenge on the club for the 33rd, because the 33rd was looking for Danica's killer. So basically is asking, the way that she frames the questions makes it clear that they're now second guessing whether or not he did Danica's murder. And he's now realizing that. He stuns them both by revealing in this moment, he says he liked Danica. He's like, oh, you guys realize finally I didn't fucking do it, right? He goes on to explain that Danica gave him 2 chances to call off his plots before taking him in on the 3rd chance. Briggs thinks Danica might have sympathized with his cause, and she was trying to warn him off of hurting people even if she agreed with him.
Oh my God, he's just like Teresa Guidici on Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like, I feel
I was going to say that.
She didn't do the tax evasion. Her husband did the tax evasion, but they both went to prison for it, and that's not fair. She didn't know anything about it. Guys, she didn't know anything about it.
That's not exactly like this.
It's just like that. Like, I feel like, honestly, Philip Briggs and Teresa should maybe have a kiki, and I think that they should talk about their shared experiences.
Well, Philip Briggs did try to kill everyone. He just didn't try to kill Danica. He did try to bomb stuff.
I'm just saying, Real Housewives of New Jersey, Lord knows what they do in the shadows.
Wow, apologist over here. Housewife and Phillips apologist. So
someone's got to support the humans, Natalie, all right? No one likes us.
By killing humans and bomb spreads?
You know, sometimes it's like a yellow brick trail of humans, you know what I mean?
No!
I'm the wizard. I guess?
I don't know what you're talking
I think I'm
about.
the wizard. Did you lose another nail?
I have 2 left.
Yeah, man. They are, wow, they don't even last an hour.
I mean, they're like...
You didn't do
They're
all
not
that.
like real ones.
Yeah.
Oh, Bryce sharply responds that Danica is not a rebel sympathizer.
Briggs looked down his nose at her.
Not yet, maybe.
He agreed.
But Danica could have been starting down that path. Maybe she saw how her pretty half-breed friend was treated by others and didn't like it too much either. So she's a little taken aback by this.
Yeah, dude.
Hunt and Bryce are trying to make sense of all this and question on why he wouldn't have tried to rat out Danica if he's saying these things are all true. If all these things are true, they say. And Hunt observes the insanity coursing through Briggs that's likely due to the torment he faced in prison, and Hunt recognizes it a little too much from his own past. God. Briggs tells them point blank that he doesn't believe for a second that Kira's, which is the splinter cell group that's part of the larger rebellion Ophion, that Briggs is a part of.
Okay, so Ophion is the big group.
His group that was doing the little bomb scares
is a separate subsection of Ophion.
Called Ceres or Keres. I actually don't know how to say that. Kercs. That was his group. And so he says he doesn't believe for a second they were the ones who killed the pack of devils. But he did go on to say they might have bombed the White Raven, and if they did, good for them.
Hunt ground his teeth. Had he been this out of touch with reality when he'd followed Shahar? Had it been this level of fanaticism that prompted him to lead the Angels of the 18th to Mount Hermon? In those last days, would he have even listened to anyone if they'd advised against it?
So he's essentially acknowledging that he and Briggs kind of have the same hopes and dreams, but he's trying to gauge if was he this crazy? Was he this maniacal at the time?
And this psychologically broken as well, if you think about like having to not only feel that strongly, but also go through with things. Like it takes a lot of brain space to organize. Like, could he have done that in the state that he's in as well? And could he stop anything even if he had wanted to? And you think about where Hunt was in those days of like when
his rebellion.
And his rebellion and like, you know, I think of how much guilt he has for all of the things that he went through, that it's like, you got to let some of it go because part of it is that your brain just couldn't fight against it.
Well, for sure. But he also is kind of questioning, is he the same as Briggs in that he would have just let innocent people be killed?
Right.
Like,
but
that
obviously
is the cause. So was the cause so intense and so he was so tunnel visioned about it that he would have let so like other people suffer. And so he remembers he has a flashback in this moment of Isaiah coming to his tent as the rebellion is about to happen, the big battle, and telling him to not do it. Don't do this. It's going to be a mistake. And he ignored him. And so he's like, maybe I am just like this guy. Yeah. They get up to leave and Briggs seems to confirm Hunt's fears. He recognizes Hunt as one of the fallen, of course, because of his tattoo, and tells him, you know, we'll take the bastards down someday. You and me, we're the same, right? And the realization that Briggs saw them as one in the same disturbs Hunt. Yeah. He cuts to later, and they're back at Bryce's apartment. Bryce can tell that Hunt is bothered by something and tries to get it out of him. He's not talking, but she's also a bit distracted by seeing Hunt in casual clothes, which in this moment is a soft gray t-shirt, black sweats, and a white sunball cap turned backwards.
Oh my God.
Which leads to my favorite piece of Hunt fan art.
Oh, yes. I love this picture.
It's by S.N. Cinder, I think is how you say that character. But it's you'd see it if you just look up Hunt. It's like usually on the first page. But this is how she's looking at him in this scene, in this page. Jackie's eyeballs are going to fall
my
out.
eyeballs are going to pop out of my head, but it is because it does look like he's like lightly playing with himself, but I know that he's not. But like his hands in his pocket.
His shirt's like, lifted up. But like I do think in this picture, he has intentionally left his shirt up, knowing that she's looking at him.
Oh, yeah.
But he's oops.
Because, like, that's the thing. I'm not into the cum gutters, and I don't know what they're actually called in real life, but I've only ever referred to them as cum gutters, and I don't know what the real
Well, that was a new word I learned today.
Oh, do you not know that? What do you call them?
Are you talking about the abs?
Like the V.
Oh, the V?
Yeah, to paradise.
That's what I've known it as.
Yeah, you call it the V? Oh, well, I've only referred to it as cum gutters my entire life. And I am not that into cum gutters, but if you were, this picture is plentiful. Because then you just think, yeah, I guess the V to paradise.
The V to paradise. So, the happy trail in the middle, of course.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, she is distracted a little bit by this. She's trying to tell herself it's because he's just in like normal clothes and that's weird. But she's obviously also attracted to what he looks like.
Just because it's normal clothes.
Yeah. She can't help but notice the hair falling around his face, the cap almost concealing that tattoo. And he sort of just looks like a guy. He notices that she keeps looking at him, and partly to distract him, I think, she grabs his phone from him because he's like noticing she's ogling him and she's like, what? No. She grabs his phone and takes a picture of him on it, then texts it to herself.
God,
Partly because she thinks people won't believe that he dresses normal sometimes.
oh God, but just remembering when the pictures come back. We're not talking about that right now. We're not thinking about these pictures.
No, what are you doing?
I'm going down a spiral in my brain, Natalie.
Don't. Okay, that's foreshadow. That's not a spoiler, but don't stop it. So he says that part. I can't even talk about this section of the book.
No, dude.
I can't. Okay, so he says he's annoyed by her. Like, stop doing it. That's annoying me. But she nags him back, and in response, he simply picks up his phone and takes a picture of her on it. You know, just to get back at her.
Yeah.
Not because he's gonna like lay in bed and like
Back
look at
at
her.
Yeah, no. Yeah, with his revenge.
Yeah. Just so he can seek revenge upon her.
Whoa. Crazy.
She questions him. She questions him again and admits as much that questioning Briggs brought up some bad stuff for him because she's like, what is going on with you tonight? And he's like, yeah, this kind of brought out some bad memories. And she reasons out what he must be thinking. And she tells him point to straight up, she doesn't think he's anything like Philip Briggs. She points out fairly that Hunt's rebellion didn't involve happily killing innocent pedestrians caught in the crossfire of his cause. It doesn't soothe him. He tells her that he feels as though he was so tunnel visioned as the man in the interrogation room that it doesn't sit well with him. That he recognized the look on Briggs' face too much.
No.
Knew what it was to be tortured underground for years.
No.
This makes Bryce feel sick to her stomach. He opens up about more of his torment in the years following the rebellion. That he understood why Briggs talked the way he did. That he felt only hatred in the decades following his imprisonment.
She didn't let herself reconsider before she took his hand. She hadn't realized how much bigger Hunt's hand was until hers coiled around it. Hadn't realized how many calluses lay on his palms and fingers until they rasped against her skin.
Guys, we've got toe curls and we got calluses.
Oh,
Something is
rasping. Oh, they're rasping.
Hunt seems dazed by her hand in his. She tells him in no uncertain terms that he is nothing like Briggs, that she sees him, sees his kindness. Briggs is a bad person, and he is not.
The weight of his stare pressed on her skin, warmed her face. She withdrew her hand as casually as she could, trying not to note how his own fingers seemed hesitant to let go.
Uh-oh, you're not supposed to touch each other.
No, you're not supposed to hold hands with each other and rasp your calluses against her skin. Ooh, baby, I love a callus.
So does us,
baby. Woo.
She gets him to laugh by teasing him about his hat. And then he pulls the ultimate, I don't like you move. He takes his hat off and plops it on her head.
Oh my God.
You know, the way business associates do.
Yeah.
She grabs the papers they've been reading and begins to look through the notes they have to figure out their next move with. He scoots in to look at the papers, and she can't help but notice that she can feel his leg pressed against hers. Okay, guys.
God,
come
man,
on.
that kind of magnetism when you haven't done something with somebody yet, but like those touches when they just shoot through your body like they're electric shocks.
And it's that stuff, too, where people think they don't know that they're showing affection for each other, but everyone in the room is like,
okay, like we can feel it. It is like a weighted blanket on the room.
You don't touch, like, there's just a thing, like, if you're not in a relationship or you don't like somebody, you don't, like, touch thighs when you're sitting next to each other.
No, if I'm sitting on the couch next to you, Natalie, usually there's at least like a hand's width difference.
Even if we were reading something together, I'm not going to like press my leg against yours. That's so weird.
I have been meaning to bring this up because Natalie, it's just like you gotta keep your legs away from my legs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I need to express my affection for you more with leg touching.
Oh, no. It's the opposite. I think you need to cease.
Okay. All right. Message received.
I'm glad that this finally came up naturally. I've just been like waiting for it to come up in conversation. And it's mostly just because of how sweaty my thighs are. They're not. They're very, I've got a skirt on right now, so. If you wanted to press.
Oh God. Ugh, this is becoming uncomfortable. So,
well, this is what happens. You know, we're in a sexy scene and we got to make it unsexy because we're sister-in-laws sitting next to each other.
What crazy person would have two sisters talking about these books together? So suddenly, as they're looking at these papers, Hunt comes to a realization. There has to be more to why Danica wasn't picked up on surveillance cameras that night the horn was stolen. That even though all the footage that came back from the 33rd said the blackout hindered anything going on, nothing was seen. They needed to get a hold of that footage and have it analyzed because he feels like there was more to this footage. Doesn't make sense. Let's end here on the tense thigh touching of this episode.
Oh no, I don't know if we should be left here. Everyone help me. Natalie's thighs, they ache for me. Everyone help my thighs.
If you watch the video version of this, you can clearly see I am 6 feet apart, COVID regulation style.
No, she's got long, beautiful dancer's legs. You don't know how far they reach. No, Natalie, no. Natalie, no. Not the thigh. Okay. Were you horny? Nah, you ain't.